Hey y'all, welcome to the second episode of the And Chill podcast. Before you say anything, yes, I'm wearing the same shirt. It's because I'm filming these videos back to back. Just mind your business and watch the title screen, okay? Before we get into the nitty gritty of this video, I have two things I need to say. Number one, this will have spoilers. I cannot talk about Sinners without spoiling it. I'm sorry, I love you, just can't let it happen. Second, honestly, you have about a week to see this movie in IMAX before Thunderbolts takes over the IMAX theaters. Now, can you still see it after this week and a half? Yes, of course. Of course. But the perks of seeing it in IMAX is you get 2 aspect ratios. If you don't know what an aspect ratio is, it's how you're watching this video. So we're on YouTube, I'm turned to the side, I'm a certain size, whatever, cool, great. I cannot take this same video and put it on TikTok and it still look the same. I would have to change the aspect ratio, which is literally just how you're viewing the film, okay? So when you're watching it in IMAX, during the high stakes scenes, they have black bars on the movie that literally fall off, that the screen expands, well, it looks like the screen is expanding, so you're able to see the full action. That is why you have to see it in IMAX. As far as the 70 millimeter goes, that's the best way to see it if you are able to land a ticket into those select few theaters. Just go support the movie, y'all. Go support the movie, y'all. Go support the movie, y'all. Ryan Coogler deserves all the accolades that he can get for this film. Please, for all things holy, go support this film. This is probably one of the most creative films I have seen in a very long time. Let's get to the review before I start crying over how phenomenal Ryan Coogler is. Just like in episode 1, I want to do a chill summary of each film and TV show that I watch, which essentially is just me summarizing the film or show for you in my own words. Yes, you can Google the summary, but there is just no fun in that. So here is my chill summary of Sinners. After 7 years of doing who knows what in Chicago, the Smokestack twins return back to their home in the Mississippi Delta. After buying an old mill house from a white man, the Smokestack twins reconnect with old friends and old flames to build up a juke joint. Opening night turns into a night all guests, both invited and uninvited, will never forget. Let me tell you something. Ryan Coogler does not miss. He has never missed, and he definitely doesn't miss if Michael B. Jordan is involved. Do you hear me? Oh man, that duo. I'm trying to keep it cute for this review, y'all. I really am, but the way that I feel about Sinners, I just gotta move. I gotta move. I'm sorry. I have literally loved Ryan Coogler since Fruitvale Station. Do you know that movie had everybody in the theater crying? Hello? Even if you don't have emotions, the way that Michael B. Jordan delivered those lines, the way that Ryan Coogler directed, it's just, ugh. That duo has been it. Do you hear me? But honestly, Ryan Coogler can make a video about his name being Ryan Coogler, and I would still sit up there and watch it because everything that this man creates is phenomenal. Creed, Black Panther, this, even his In Proximity podcast, y'all, it's so inspiring. Like, how do you not listen to Ryan Coogler and just feel like you can conquer the universe, you know? I'm sorry, y'all, I am gonna fan out during this video and I'm gonna try my best to keep it, but, Ryan! And I'm not even gonna be dramatic, y'all. The only movie that has had me this excited in years is It's What's Inside on Netflix. I can literally do about 2 videos just on that one alone. If you have not seen it, please go on Netflix today and watch It's What's Inside. It's directed and written by Greg Jardin. Y'all, I don't even want to say it, but just know these 2 films, and I'm gonna die on this hill, if they would have came out the same year and Greg Jardin would have put this in theaters instead of on Netflix, Sinners would have competition. Sinners would have some competition. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. Sinners wouldn't stand a chance. Do you hear me? But I think the best part about this movie in particular, you don't see a lot of black supernaturals, y'all. You do not see it like challenging, and this is controversial. It's not necessarily challenging religion, but mixing religion with supernatural and the devil and vampires and darkness all in the 1930s in the Mississippi Delta. And you got sharecroppers picking cotton and you just, gangsta twins. Like, Ryan, come on out, Ryan. But, Jesus. Another thing that I appreciate about Ryan Coogler that I think he does really well, and it is showing during the press tour. First off, the Sinners trailer does not do the movie justice. I promise you, you can watch every single trailer and you're still gonna have no idea what this movie is about. You're gonna have no idea how you get from point A to point Z. I promise you, and you're going to love every second of it. He has a way of storytelling that draws you in without you even having to know what the full story is. It's like you see his name, you see Michael B. Jordan. What did you actually know about Sinners before you went into it? Because I promise you, what happened in that movie, you did not know what's gonna happen in that movie, and that is okay. Now, I do want to make this argument because I will argue with anybody about this. Let me get comfortable so I can let y'all know this. But let's be for real. Why would you write a twin role for one person who ain't never played no twins before? My honest argument, he wrote this film in late 2023. It only took him about 2 months. I really do feel like he, in his head, when he initially wrote it down, pen to paper, he wanted this to be Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors. I do, because there's little lines that happen in this movie, like white man is like, y'all cousins? No, he's like, y'all twins? And the response is, no, we cousins. And I really do feel like that was really, like, it was probably like, are y'all brothers? Like, no, we cousins. Like, I feel like that was the original line. And then there's a part in it towards the end where they're like, he's like, yeah, my big brother. But if y'all are twins, like y'all, I know that twins have big brothers, big sisters, whatever. But when do you see twins call people big brother? I really do feel like the character of Smoke was supposed to be Jonathan Majors, while the character of Stack was supposed to be Michael B. Jordan. And it kind of happens in mannerisms too, because I feel like Michael B. Jordan does a better job of playing Stack than he does Smoke. It's just something about the mannerisms of Smoke that gives Jonathan Majors versus the mannerisms of Stack that gives Michael B. Jordan. Now, we will never know what it really was, but it's just the way that the story is set up. Now, once you see it, or if you have seen it, let's discuss this in the comments, because I know that I'm not tripping, and I know I'm not being delusional, and I know that somebody else somewhere agrees with me. I know it. Despite the facts, Michael B. Jordan did do a phenomenal job playing twins. I know how hard that has to be. But another thing I do appreciate about Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan and everybody else that's going on this press run for Sinners, they are giving so much credit to Michael B. Jordan's body double, Percy Bell. I'm also going to give credit to Percy Bell because he did, baby. He had to memorize every step, every breathing motion, every snap, every shrug. 10 out of 10. And I really do hope that we get to see him on the big screens because he's already proven himself, honestly. All right. So let's actually talk about the movie. Let's actually get into the film. This is an original story by Ryan Coogler. This is a story that was inspired by stories that he heard growing up from his own family members. And I also listened to his In Proximity podcast that specifically said that he felt like he was hitting different regions that were tied to him, but he never hit the South. So he knew that this was his time to talk about the Deep South and the stories of the Deep South, but also kind of add like a interesting spin on it that isn't typical. Being a sharecropper and working on the plantation was their identity back in 1932. Even though slavery was abolished at this point, they just changed the name of it and tied it with a bow. That's pretty much what's being depicted in the show. So you do see a lot of cotton picking happening, but they're not like getting whipped and stuff, if that makes sense. Like, it's not like Django, you know? So we meet the Smokestack twins and they're gangsters, and we really see this whenever they're separated. Like, Smoke ends up paying a little girl to watch his car, and within 5 minutes, the little girl honking the horn because two boys is boosting the car, or trying to boost the car. And so Smoke comes out and just shoot one in the butt, one in the kneecap, just to teach them a lesson. Like, you're not gonna say that you almost jacked the Smokestack twins. They pretty much like to show that they mean business. Another thing that you kind of see within these twins is they're coldness. And then with Stack, you get to see his coldness whenever we first meet Mary at the train station, and we kind of see like, oh, okay, so he's kind of doing her a little dirty, like, okay, cool. But another thing that we do see is the softness exhibited by the twins. Smoke has a very soft spot for his significant other, Annie. They have a child together, so I feel like their relationship is a bit more serious than Stack, who has a soft spot for Mary, who I feel was just his little sexy little mama, you know, his forbidden fruit, because she's like 12% black, and she mentions how Stack made her get with this white man so she can have a white family, and he was like, well, I was just trying to protect you because I know you can't be with me, which honestly, I think that's raw. I think it's good that he tried to protect her. So I just think that's his little sweet thing. Like, you know, I love you, but I can't really take you serious type. Okay, so anyway, the film opens up by us seeing Preacher Boy, which is Sammy, and he's pulling up to the church. He comes in with the half a guitar in his hand, covered in blood. We don't know what happened. We just kind of there trying to figure out what exactly was going on. And to be 100% honest with you, they had my ass. They had me. I definitely thought Ryan Coogler was gonna start off this movie killing up a church. I really did. And I was like, wow, that was intense, but he didn't. After we meet Sammy for the first time, a little card pop up to say like earlier that day or the day before, something like that. So this kind of puts into perspective that from when we see Sammy and the events that's about to show us, this was all within like 24 hours. So that really put me on my toes, because if you know anything about vampire flicks, baby, 24 hours is all they need, honey. Now, do we know if he survives because something happened to him, or we don't know how exactly he survives, but we just know that he survives, okay? So we pick up Sammy, then we go meet Delta Slim, who's like a harmonica player. That man was not playing the harmonica, but he's a harmonica player who I'm sure is just very, very popular in the Mississippi Delta. He is very familiar with Stack. So he hanging out with Stack, you know, Stack running into him, telling him what the plan is for their juke joint. And at first, Delta Slim isn't really down for it, but then Stack makes him a deal that he can't refuse, so now he's down for it. So now we have Stack, Sammy, and Delta Slim, okay? Keep up. While we're driving to go pick up our next character, Stack, Sammy, and Delta Slim are sitting in the car and they're just talking. Delta Slim and them drive past, I guess, slaves. I'm not sure. They was in jail outfits. I don't really know what to call them, but drives past them, and Delta Slim was like, slow down, Stack, slow down, Stack. And he's looking and they're like, oh, do you know him? And Delta Slim starts going on this story, like he starts telling this story, and within the story, he is creating a visual, but he is not creating this visual. The sound designers are creating the visual. You can hear the crowd, you can hear the lynchings, you can hear the fear, like the way that the sound design takes over. I'm gonna get to that. Sound design is sweeping the awards. I don't care, 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 baby, I don't care. Sound design 8, the score 8. We gonna get to it. Let me just. We pick up Cornbread, who is a sharecropper, and when we pick him up, it's kind of evident that he not really rocking with the Smokestack twins. Like, yeah, I love y'all, but y'all are trouble. And it's clear in his responses. But his wife kind of pushes him to kind of go with them, and honestly, not to jump the gun, but I'm sure she ends up really regretting that. Now, the one negative thing I have to say about this film is that you're going to spend majority of the time meeting characters, getting a backstory, trying to understand where people come from. So it does feel like it's dragging for a little bit, but baby, when that catalyst hits, the speed of this movie picks up so quick. You just like by the time the movie's over, you're like, dang, like we just spent most of the movie just learning about them, and then this happened. That's my only flaw, Ryan. Don't jump me. Don't jump me. All right. So if you have been paying attention to TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, then you have seen pictures, you have heard the song, you know the catalyst of this film is Sammy's song. I want to play it, but I don't know if I'm like. But just know that the little boy Miles who plays Sammy is going to go so far in this life. It's unreal. But anyway, Sammy's song, the musical sequence of Sammy's song is just so beautiful. It's so breathtaking. It takes you through the history of Black music and you just melt. And I don't want to spend too much time talking about it, but please, that one part. You literally just want to press rewind. Like you wish it was on bootleg so you can rewind it. Oh my goodness. This part really does shift the rest of the tone of the movie, and it ends with the roof being set on fire, and then we meet 3 people: Remick, the devil, and 2 people that we met earlier in the movie, Joan and Bert, who are actually KKK members that Remick had turned into vampires after tricking them into letting him into their home. Now, I'll be honest, the meaning of these 3 actually holds a lot more weight than I think people really noticed within the first time going through. They represent 3 white people who are coming in and trying to take the soul and steal the sounds of the Black community. That's a little freestyle summary, but essentially that's what they were doing. Of course, they don't let them in because honestly, Annie got some weird vibes. She does hoodoo, so she does pay attention to a lot of the off people. Mary, being the sweet, white passing woman that she is, she decides to go outside and have a conversation with them. And as to be expected, they turn her into a vampire, but it's edited so nicely that you don't necessarily see the bite, but you do see the aftermath of the bite, which is shown in her actions. Mary comes back very sexy and lusty, and her demeanor is completely different. Now she's all over Stack, kissing him. They go to the back, do their little freaky deaky and whatnot. And at the same time of them doing their freaky deaky, Cornbread got a piece, so he asked Delta Slim to go take his spot. So Cornbread is outside. And you know, if you go outside with a bunch of vampires, I mean, what's gonna happen? Exactly. Cornbread outside, Stack and Mary getting it on, Smoke and Bo beating up somebody. It's just a lot of chaos happening, all while Perline is singing her heart out and just creating such a phenomenal visuals. It's just, you're so immersed in what's going on. You know something is about to happen because it's just too much happening at one time. So Smoke sends Sammy to go get Stack, but Sammy's like, no, you know, Stack a little busy, he getting it on, and Smoke really do not care. Smoke busts through that door, and what does he see? Mary going ham on Stack's neck. Yes, y'all, Mary was biting the mess out of Stack, y'all. So Smoke does what every brother would do and turns her into Swiss cheese, which she's a vampire, so it really doesn't work. Mary talks her little mess, runs out the thing, and everybody else gets kicked out. But what nobody realizes is you're kicking everybody out, which is giving the vampires outside a full buffet. Everybody who gets kicked out of the juke joint eventually turns into a vampire, so only the few that are left inside are safe. They assume that Stack is dead, but once they hear banging on the door, they soon realize Stack is a vampire. And Mary and all them outside, they all vampires. Hence why they need permission to come into a space that they have been hanging out in all day. Now, I don't want to give you the entire play-by-play, but I will say this. This opened up a full-on brawl between the vampires and the people. The vampires come in and take people out within the first 10 seconds. Within a minute or two, Annie getting bit up by Stack. Everybody's like, whoa. But you know, Mary, she lit, cause she like, yeah, my bestie, she coming to hang out with. No, Annie and Smoke made an agreement that if Annie does get bit, he gonna go ahead and that's exactly what he did. So everybody's upset because, wow, that just ruined our plan. All the vampires run out. All we're left with is Smoke, Sammy, Delta Slim, and Perline. Delta Slim take one for the team. Perline, Sammy, and Smoke run upstairs trying to escape, and they soon met with Remick and Stack. Stack end up taking out Perline. Smoke and Stack going back and forth. The devil, Remick, he only worried about Sammy. Y'all, it's just so chaotic. And when I say it happens so fast, it happens so fast. It happens so fast. So for one of the final scenes of the movie, well, the final interaction between Sammy and Remick the devil, they use the Lord's Prayer, and I think this particular scene is very challenging to some, but when you really look at it from a spiritual perspective, I definitely understand why Ryan Coogler threw it in. Basically, we have Sammy who starts reciting the Lord's Prayer because he truly feels like Remick is going to take his life, but he does have faith, so he talks to God. Remick ends up joining him in the Lord's Prayer, and so does all of Remick's little vampires. They join in too. So now you have a harmony of people reciting the Lord's Prayer, and you're just kind of sitting there like, oh Lord, they're gonna take him. Honestly, the man who plays Remick, Jack O'Connell, he does the dang thing, y'all. I swear he does. He delivers a phenomenal monologue that essentially lets you know what he's doing to Club Juke happened to him when he was growing up, and he hated what they did, but the one thing he did appreciate was the Lord's Prayer. Next thing you know, Sammy come pick up that guitar and whack the mess out of Remick, and there's like a little silver piece that gets stuck in the head, and because it got stuck in his head, all the vampires are feeling the same thing too. So all the vampires are feeling it, And I just thought this was super interesting because at the beginning of the movie, when Sammy and his dad are talking to each other, whenever Sammy sees the guitar and we see the guitar for the first time, the guitar is leaning on the communion table where it says, "Do in remembrance of me." So the fact that he took that same guitar and whacked the mess out that boy, that was God. That was God, hello. After defeating Remick and watching the rest of the vampires burn up, Smoke sends Sammy off, which shows us how we got to the beginning of the film while Smoke handles some business. The business? Taking out the entire KKK. Yeah, Smoke take out every single one. Yeah, he gets hit with a bullet, but he's able to kill each one of them and still be reunited with Annie and their baby. When you think the movie is over, we see an older Sammy still playing his guitar, still performing. Then we transition to a mid-credit scene where we see a 90s Mary and a 90s Stack talking to Sammy for the first time in years. They reconnect and they open up the floor to invite Sammy into their world, but Sammy lets them know that he's already tired of this road and he's not really gonna take them up on the offer. They share a hug, Sammy serenades them, and they all live happily ever after. The end credit scene is just a video of young Sammy singing This Little Light of Mine. I do feel like Ryan Coogler put that in there to further showcase the talents that is Miles. But all in all, this movie's a 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5 stars, perfect. I see why it has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is the best thing I've ever seen in my life, and I hope that y'all can see it too. I know that I was kind of talking through this kind of fast, but I got excited. But join me next week as I take you on another adventure of a new movie and or TV show. It was nice talking to y'all. See y'all on Wednesday. Bye.